there any tax benefits to owning a home as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can write off the mortgage interest that you pay on your mortgage. So really, when you look at it overall, especially once you get into investing, the tax code, it greatly benefits and incentivizes individuals to own real estate. So that's just another way that even if you don't, maybe that's not your primary source of bread and butter, real estate is a great way to just acquire good debt and end up paying as little taxes as possible. So, mention the mortgage interest. If it is your primary property, you can apply for the homestead tax exemption. So you'll be paying a slightly lower rate in taxes. What else? There's also something called depreciation. So you can actually write off, even if your home is actually appreciating, you can actually write off different expenses related to your home. And a lot of investors take advantage of this, and it really puts them in a position where they're paying an extremely low amount of taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really endless benefits. There's even ways to get around paying taxes when you sell your home. If you actually sell it, you can escape having to pay some of the taxes that are incurred with that sale with buying another property as well. So it's just another way to continue to move money and really take full
Wow.
advantage of the
So
tax
it sounds
code.
like there's, I mean, you've listed several different benefits. I count definitely more than five, right, when it comes to purchasing real estate, owning a property, even owning rental property versus somebody invested in, and we're not knocking the stock market, guys. Let's be clear about that as well, right? We are just we're given a holistic view of financials, right? Like we support it all, right? An asset is an asset. That's the bottom line.
For sure.
But
Absolutely.
the
Definitely.
you
You
want to
want to diversify,
diversify. But the
obviously, of
stock
course.
market, the difference between that and owning real estate is, as Nigel stated, is just the percentage of your return, right? And you also don't get tax benefits. If I buy a stock and if I buy an Apple stock today and it's $100 and it appreciates to $200 in a week and I sell it, I have to pay capital gains tax. I have to pay short-term tax on selling that stock because I sold it within the first year, and also I have to pay capital gains tax because the stock appreciated. So those are other things to consider when you're thinking about
That's right.
assets and different things. With all of that said, um, man, what advice would you give to somebody who's watching this at home who is like, man, I think I want to buy some real estate. I'm not sure. I'm unsure about the economy. I might be unsure about my job. Um, but I feel like now is a good time to purchase some property. What would you say if that young lady or that young gentleman walked into your office and asked you for your advice?
Absolutely. You know, I like to encourage people that are even just a little bit curious
Mm,
to find out. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost anything to look into what your options are and to really lay down that path forward for you to become a homeowner. So, like, we know the benefits, but there's really a lot of misconceptions and a lot of things that people kind of have in mind that are really just myths at the end of the day. The myth that you
yeah.
have to put 20% down, the myth that it takes a lot of money to really get started in real estate. Oh,
Mhm.
my credit needs to be perfect, or I can't really do anything. Like, these are all things that are just uh, kind of floating around and just in people's heads that are, preventing them from taking that step forward when really A lot of these things can be worked out in relatively short timelines. So that's what I like to do first and foremost is to
Can we
reach
reach
out
out
to
to
your
you?
local loan
Yeah.
officer, reach out to me. I'm more than what. Yeah, yeah, reach out to me. Reach out to me. I don't care where you are. Reach out to me, any state. Operate in 44 states. So, looking to help whoever I can, get into home ownership. So, what do I recommend? Yes, reaching out and seeing what your options are. And that's just kind of how it is with the mortgage industry. Even going into the
Yeah.
the down payment conversation, right? There's all kinds of grants and down payment assistance programs that we can take advantage of. Uh, Even if you are starting from a position where you don't have a lot of capital, and you want to get into real estate investing, maybe you can consider using an FHA loan to buy a duplex
Talk
and
about
house
it.
hacking, living in one
Talk
unit,
about it.
having someone live in the other unit. And then at a certain point, whether you have a side hustle or maybe you have a savings, at a certain point you can move out of that other unit and rent out both of those units, and you're paying off your mortgage and more at that point. And as we discussed earlier in this conversation, you're continuing to gain appreciation. So a lot of this, just it takes planning. It takes planning from, like I said, just figuring out what obstacles you may have or may not have to get started. And then from if you want to get into investing, we already kind of touched upon a lot of the benefits to it. It really just comes down if the numbers make sense, then it makes sense. So I'm more than happy to help you out if you're looking to get started on the investing side, or if you want to just stop throwing your money away to landlords. You're really closer to home ownership than you think. And I'm just here to broker that knowledge and to really make clear and be that guiding light to get you down that path so that you can get your first home and enjoy the benefits of that, having your own
Mm.
space to customize, paint. You don't want to hear the neighbors. You want that basement. You want that man cave because your lady's nagging upstairs. These are the little things that you deserve and that, are not far off by any means. And whether it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year to get you to where you need to be, I'm here to clarify and let you know what that is. But the sooner you get to the position where you're owning a piece of real estate, the better for your future as far as building wealth. It's one of the biggest drivers of wealth. And if you want to look at things right now, if you want to look at communities overall, it really is a correlating factor to wealth today and where wealth resides. So um, I've seen the numbers. I've seen the appreciation gained from when I started in this industry in 2021 till now. And you're not always gonna be able to time a sweet spot like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like that was a once
Mm-hmm.
in a generation event. So we like to say time in the market is better than timing
Mm.
the market.
That's
Because
a
if you
bar.
try to time the market,
Bar.
I mean, hey, that's one of our mortgage bars. If you try to time the market, there's a very strong chance that you're gonna get left behind, and there's reasons for that, but I'll
Well,
save that for another
Nigel,
soliloquy.
I do want to thank you for coming on here for doing the first episode of the Learning Curve from you. This has been, I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all at home have learned a lot. I got one more question for you, and then of course, we need to know where we can find
Sure.
you, right? If we have questions about real estate, or if we just want to be nosy and see what you got going on in your life, right? I'm sure there's some people out there that are interested in that. Um, what is and obviously, we're not gonna give names and specifics, y'all, but what's the craziest situation you've seen in somebody trying to get a mortgage? Was it like them coming to the table with six figures? Was it like them having a bad credit score and maybe nothing, and then like them getting a miraculous house somehow? Like, what is the craziest situation you've seen professionally, my good brother?
Oh man. Oh man. So two very interesting situations come to mind. Yeah, obviously, yeah, we're not going to share any names. Uh,
I'm gonna take a
so
sip of water on this one.
one situation that, yeah, take a sip for this one. Take a sip for this one. I'm going to tell you the one more recent crazy situation that I did see, and then I'm going to tell you one other funny one that I just kind of thought was funny, but there's no real indication what happened with that particular situation, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I have an idea. We can imagine, right? So one situation, yeah, this individual was under contract, um, this gentleman, and everything was good for the most part. Him and his significant other on the loan, everything was fine,
Right.
everything
Yeah. Yeah.
was working out well, and you know, then
Uh-oh.
rechecked the assets, and we were missing 50, 50 grand. 50 grand from the account from which, all of the funds were coming from. And
Yeah,
that kind
no.
of money just doesn't disappear, right? But yeah, it actually yeah, it was wired out. Where was it wired to?
Acapulco.
Well, it was wired overseas. It was wired overseas. So yeah, you're getting warmer. And yeah, it was wired to a alleged mistress in the Philippines.
No.
And and this wasn't just side money. This wasn't just extra money. This was money that was needed for
Yeah,
qualification, needed for
$50,000. Listen, y'all.
down payment and
Fifty
closing
thousand
costs.
dollars is some people's salary. $50,000 is what some people make per year. That's not that's not money that you can just move easily. That's not
It's
money
not
that you just find on the street. That's not money that you would even think about loaning to somebody without having a lot of documentation, right? That's
right. Yeah. So uh the wife or the significant other in this situation who yeah, clearly wasn't happy. Did reach out and brought some clarity to the situation. I guess there was a thought or at least a promise that that money would be sent back, and that money was unable to be retrieved back. There was nothing
mm,
the police can do. It was gone, and it effectively killed the deal. And I, in my time, have never seen anything quite like that. But yeah, that was the craziest, probably one of the craziest. But yeah, that was that. So very unfortunate way to
mm,
yeah, to axe the deal, but it's just
mm.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. We hear about those situations. Obviously, we see them on TV shows like Catfish and this and that, but to do it during the
Yeah.
mortgage process is new levels of bold,
Mm.
and yeah, hope hope all is well there. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate way to yeah, to end a deal. So the other situation, I don't Okay, I don't think it's I don't think I'm breaching any lines here. So I was kind of thinking about it. I don't think it's any issue at all. But this situation, I just thought it was funny. So yeah, I had a client who, we get 60 days
Mm,
of your most recent bank statements. We're not really looking to scrutinize the
right.
statements too
What's
much, but we're
coming
gonna
in,
see
what's
what's on
going
there, right?
out, right?
We look for large. Yeah, we're looking for large deposits because we have a threshold for large deposits where we have to source where it comes from. If it is greater than
Mm,
1% of the purchase price or 50% of your gross monthly income. So that's a topic for another day, but that it's important to have
right.
your assets be traceable if you are looking to buy a mortgage. We need to have that money seasoned in a bank account because cash isn't traceable. Anyway, this particular client uh was on the books. BetMGM, where there was a lot of it was some stuff going back and
Man.
forth, and I'm not gonna say whether there was losses or wins necessarily, but throughout in the middle of the process, you get a phone call like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm actually gonna be paying cash, so I'm not gonna need that mortgage anymore."
Wow.
So what I'm thinking is
Wow.
one of them
Yeah,
parlays
those
might have hit. One of
parlays.
them parlays might have hit. So I didn't. Yeah. So yeah, I, yeah, I didn't get any details of what happened
Mm,
specifically, but that's just one assumption because
mm.
yeah, it wasn't wasn't looking like we were going towards a cash purchase at that point. But yeah, my services were no longer needed. mm, midway through the process. So, so I think, yeah, FanDuel was
Fate,
FanDueling, or you
something.
know, I think a parlay might have hit. So, yeah, so that was another little situation, but it is a very crazy industry. You'll hear a lot of things, a lot of just between us as loan officers, realtors, it's a wide world in the real estate world. You got your title companies, you got your other vendors and contractors. It's a big ecosystem, and a lot of people kind of come together to make these deals work. So there's a lot of craziness to go around, but that's just a little smidget of some of the things that I've seen
Well,
day by day.
with that all said, where can we find out more about you? Where can we learn more about, your profession and what you got going on? Go ahead and yeah,
Definitely, definitely. You know,
I do,
you know me,
I
Mike.
do.
I have a couple of different hobbies. I like my gains. I like to stay in the gym. By day, I'm working these mortgages by day and night, honestly. So we'll start with that. Instagram is your lender, Nigel, your underscore lender underscore Nigel. Anything mortgage related, you can find all my information on there on my website. Constantly trying to drop videos and present knowledge about topics that people want to know, things that are happening in the industry. So definitely tap into that. Actually have a fitness page as well, which is find underscore Dolo. I got some new content coming that way as well. Just looking to really improve
Yeah.
myself and just document that in the process. And I'm not necessarily a trainer right now, but if there is something I can help somebody out with, I am trying to do that, on a limited basis, but really focus on mortgages as far as expanding my business. So you can find me through either one of those channels. Uh, more than happy to give out my personal as well, which is 99 underscore uno. If you want to just connect with me on a personal level, get to see, just a little bit more of me day to day, and some of my friends and acquaintances, like my good brother Mike here. You can stay connected with me on there as well. More than happy to connect. So Those are my social media handles, mainly Instagram. You know, you can kind of follow the rabbit hole to all the other Facebook and things like that. But, you know, more than happy to connect and, you know, whatever you're interested in,
Hey,
you know,
all right.
tap
Well,
in.
like I said, thank you again, Nigel, for joining us on the Learning Curve. This is episode 1. Y'all can well, you can't check out more below because this is the first episode, but there will be more. And Nigel, we definitely got to have you back.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna talk more about that a little bit later. So,
definitely, definitely, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to coming back. Yeah, man. This is yeah, like I said, it's an honor, man. It's an honor to kick it off. It's an honor to kick it off. I gotta, you know, hats off to you, man. I'm happy to see you
hey,
back
I'm
here
back.
on these online streets, and you know, hey, yeah, you know how to do this, and there's just I can't even begin to state the tremendous value that you're going to continue to bring with this channel, man. So, you know, we looking forward to keeping up with you and watching you navigate, man. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here and looking forward to be back, man. Please, man, I better be back.
You know we're
I
gonna
want
have
to
to
be
bring
back.
you back, bro. We're gonna have to bring you back, and
So,
with that said, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. So see y'all next time. Sayonara, adios,
sayonara.
hasta la vista, fin, nito, and always remember that progress is profit. So progress is profit.